You have been told your entire life that yes is the door to opportunity. You've been conditioned to believe that saying yes to every request, every invitation, every side project, and every coffee chat is how you climb the ladder. But look at where that yes has landed you. It has landed you in a state of perpetual motion without progress. It has left you exhausted, stretched thin, and drowning in the mediocre expectations of other people. If you want to know why you are still standing in the same place you were a year ago, look at your calendar. It is filled with the agendas of everyone except yourself. Your yes is the reason you're stuck, because it is the ultimate form of self-betrayal. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your highest mission, you are saying no to your own greatness. You are trading your legacy for a moment of social comfort. You are trading your first million for the temporary relief of not having to let someone down. The reality of high-level success is that it isn't built on what you do. It's built on what you refuse to do. We live in a world that is designed to distract you. There's a billion-dollar industry dedicated to capturing every second of your attention. If you do not have a no that is backed by a deep, burning obsession for your goal, you will be consumed by the noise. People think that focus is about looking at the thing you want and saying yes to it. But that's easy. True focus is looking at 20 other amazing, shiny, profitable opportunities and saying no to all of them because they aren't the main thing. Your no is the protective wall around your genius. It is the boundary that keeps the world from diluting your vision. The moment you start saying no, you reclaim your power. You stop being a passenger in your own life, and you start being the architect. Think about the weight of every yes. Every time you agree to a meeting that doesn't need to happen, you are literally giving away the currency of your life. You can always make more money, but you can never, ever make more time. Your first million is waiting for you in the hours you currently waste on things that don't matter. It's waiting in the deep work sessions you skip because you're too busy responding to notifications. It's waiting in the discipline of the no. When you say no to the party, no to the gossip, no to the safe job that pays just enough to keep you from following your dreams, you are finally making room for the yes that actually counts. You are clearing the runway so that your vision can actually take flight. You cannot build a skyscraper on a foundation of compromises. You need a solid, unbreakable commitment to your own trajectory. Most people are afraid of the word no because they are afraid of conflict. They want to be liked. They want to be the reliable one. But let me tell you something. Being liked is the consolation prize for people who are afraid to lead. The people who change the world, the people who reach that 7-figure mark and beyond, are not looking for a popularity contest. They are looking for results. They understand that their energy is a finite resource. If you pour your water into 100 different cups, no one gets a full drink, and you end up empty. But if you pour all that energy into one single powerful stream, you can cut through steel. That is the power of no. It is the concentration of your will. It is the refusal to let your life be a series of reactions to outside stimuli. We are stuck in a cycle of busyness that we mistake for productivity. We feel productive because we answered 50 emails and went to 3 meetings and helped a friend with their project. But at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, did you move the needle on your own life? Did you do anything that moved you closer to that first million? If the answer is no, then you didn't work. You just performed for an audience. The million-dollar mindset requires a level of ruthlessness that most people find uncomfortable. It requires you to be the villain in someone else's story so that you can be the hero in your own. It requires you to put down the phone, shut the door, and tell the world to wait. If you can't say no to the small distractions, you will never have the capacity to handle the big responsibilities. Your first million is not a matter of luck. It is a matter of mathematics and focus. It is the result of thousands of hours of concentrated effort on a single point of impact. You cannot reach that level of concentration if you are constantly being pulled in different directions. Your yes is the friction that is slowing you down. It's the extra weight in your backpack while you're trying to climb a mountain. Every no you utter is you dropping that weight. No, I can't help with that. No, I won't be there. No, that's not for me. Every time you say it, you feel lighter. You feel sharper. You begin to see the path with a clarity you've never had before. You start to realize that the doors you thought you were opening with yes were actually traps, designed to keep you busy while someone else wins the game. Stop apologizing for your boundaries. Stop explaining why you can't do things. A no is a complete sentence. It is a declaration of value. When you say no, you are telling the world that your time is worth something. You are telling yourself that your dreams are worth protecting. The world will try to guilt you. People will call you selfish. They will say you've changed. Let them. If you haven't changed, you are growing. If you aren't being called selfish by someone who wants to use your time for their benefit, then you aren't guarding your gates closely enough. The $1,000,000 version of you doesn't have time for the things the $1,000 version of you is obsessed with. You have to kill the version of you that needs everyone's approval if you want to birth the version of you that commands the room. The internal shift begins when you realize that most of the opportunities coming your way are actually distractions in disguise. We have been trained to think that a good opportunity is something we must seize, but the enemy of the great life is the good life. The enemy of your first million is the steady paycheck or the decent side hustle that takes up all your mental bandwidth. When you are operating at a level of mediocrity, you say yes to anything that looks like a step up. But when you decide to play at the world-class level, you understand that your no is the only thing that keeps you from being average. Average people are busy. Successful people are productive. There is a massive difference between the two. Being busy is often just a form of mental laziness. It's easier to say yes to 100 small tasks than it is to say no to everything, so you can focus on the one big, terrifying, high-stakes project that will actually change your bank account. The Millionaire's no is a filter. It is a lens through which you view every single interaction. You have to start asking yourself, does this move me closer to my primary goal? Or is this just making me feel useful in the short term? Most of us are addicted to feeling useful. We want to be the person people call when they need help. We want to be the go-to individual, but if you are the go-to person for everyone else's problems, you will never have the time to solve your own financial puzzles. You are building someone else's dream with the bricks of your own time. Every time you say yes to a low-level request, you are devaluing your own market price. You are signaling to yourself and the world that your time is cheap. If you want to earn $1,000,000, you have to treat your hour like it's worth $1,000. Would a person making $1,000 an hour spend 60 minutes arguing in a comment section? Would they spend 2 hours watching a show they don't even like? Would they spend their morning answering non-urgent quick questions from people who haven't done their own research? The answer is a resounding no. The moment you start valuing your time at that level, your behavior changes. You become protective. You become disciplined. You start to see that no isn't a rejection of others. It's an acceptance of your own potential. People will tell you that you're being too intense. They will tell you to relax and live a little. But those people are usually the ones who are stuck in the same cycle of debt and disappointment that you are trying to escape. You cannot take advice from people who are not where you want to be. If they haven't built the $1,000,000 life, their yes has led them to a different destination. You must be willing to walk a lonely path for a while. The no creates a vacuum, and at first, that vacuum feels like isolation. It feels like you're missing out. But that vacuum is actually the space where your first million is going to be created. You need that silence. You need that lack of interruption to think, to strategize, and to execute at a level that 99% of the population never touches. Discipline is not about doing more. It's about doing less, but doing it with a level of intensity that is frightening. It's about picking one lane and staying in it until you see the finish line. We are a generation of starters. We start the blog, we start the store, we start the channel, we start the investment plan. And then, the moment it gets hard, or the moment something else looks interesting, we say yes to the new thing and abandon the old one. This is why you are stuck. You have 10 holes that are 1 foot deep instead of one hole that is 10 feet deep. You haven't hit water because you keep moving your shovel. Your no to the new and shiny is what allows you to strike gold in the boring and consistent. Success is often very boring. It is the repetitive execution of the fundamentals. It is saying no to the impulse to pivot every time you hit a roadblock. Think about the psychology of the word no. When you say no to a distraction, you are building your willpower muscle. Every time you resist the urge to check your phone, every time you decline an event that doesn't serve your growth, you are becoming stronger. You are proving to yourself that you are in control. Most people are slaves to their impulses. They are like leaves in the wind, blown around by every notification, every trend, and every social pressure. But you are the wind. You decide the direction. You decide the force. When you master the no, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, the money follows. The market rewards those who can focus. The market rewards those who can provide a level of value that only comes from deep, uninterrupted work. You cannot provide deep value if you are living a shallow life. Your yes is often a mask for your fear. We say yes because we're afraid of what will happen if we don't. We're afraid of being left behind. We're afraid of what people will think. We're afraid that if we don't take this small deal, a big deal will never come. But this is scarcity thinking. Scarcity thinking tells you that opportunities are rare, so you must grab every crumb. Abundance thinking. The mindset of the million-dollar earner knows that opportunities are everywhere, but time is rare. Therefore, you must be extremely picky about which opportunities you let into your life. You have to move from a place of, I hope they pick me, to a place of, I hope they are worthy of my time. This shift in posture changes everything. It changes the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, and the way people perceive you. People who say no with conviction are respected. People who say yes to everything are used. If you want to break free from the stuck feeling, you have to audit your last 30 days. Look at every yes you gave. Which of those yeses actually resulted in progress? Which of them actually moved you closer to your first million? You'll likely find that 80% of your results came from 20% of your activities. That means 80% of your yeses were a complete waste of your life. Imagine if you took all that wasted energy and poured it into the 20% that actually works. You wouldn't just be a little bit more successful, you would be exponentially more successful. You would be unstoppable. The reason you haven't done this yet is because you're addicted to the busy high. You like the feeling of having a full inbox. You like the feeling of being needed. You have to kill that ego. You have to be okay with being unproductive in the eyes of the world so that you can be legendary in the eyes of history. Now we come to the most difficult part of this journey, which is the ultimate exit. This is the moment where you stop just thinking about the no and you start living it as a biological imperative. You have to realize that you are currently auditioning for a role in everyone else's play, but you haven't even written a script for your own. The first million isn't just a number in a bank account. It is a certificate of graduation from the school of people-pleasing. It is proof that you finally valued your own vision more than the comfort of those around you. When you reach that level of financial and personal freedom, you look back and realize that the walls of your stuck reality were built out of the bricks of every yes you gave away for free. Every yes to a distraction was a brick in your own prison. Every no was a hammer blow to those walls. The world will try to convince you that no is a negative word. They will tell you it's the word of a pessimist or someone who isn't a team player. But I am telling you that no is the most positive word in the human language when it is used to protect a yes that matters. When you say no to the low-paying client who drains your soul, you are saying a massive, vibrant yes to the high-level project that will define your career. When you say no to the family gathering that you only attend out of guilt, you are saying yes to the rest and recovery you need to perform at your peak on Monday morning. You cannot have a high-output life with a low-filter boundary. The more successful you become, the more people will come knocking. They don't want your success. They want your energy. They want a piece of the fire you've built because they are too cold to start their own. You have to be the guardian of your own flame. If you let everyone huddle around it without contributing any wood, eventually your fire will go out. The $1,000,000 vacuum is what happens after you start saying no. For a while, things will get very quiet. Your phone will stop buzzing as often. The friends who only valued you for your utility will disappear. This silence is where most people fail. They mistake this silence for failure. They think they've made a mistake. They feel the fear of missing out creeping in like a poison. But this is the most critical moment of your transformation. This silence is the space where your $1,000,000 strategy is born. You need that vacuum. You need the space to think deeply, to analyze the market, and to build systems that scale. You cannot build a system if you are the one doing all the manual labor because you couldn't say no to the task. You have to move from the worker to the architect. The worker says yes to the hammer. The architect says no to the hammer so they can stay at the drawing board and design the skyscraper. Think about the legacy you want to leave. Do you want to be remembered as the person who was always there for every trivial thing? Or the person who built something that changed the world? Impact requires scale, and scale requires the refusal of the non-essential. Every great achievement in human history, every empire built, every technology invented, every masterpiece painted, was the result of someone saying no to 1,000 good things so they could focus on the one thing. Your first million is your one thing right now. It is the fuel for your future impact. If you don't reach it because you were too busy being helpful in small ways, you have actually robbed the world of the big help you could have provided. Your yes is actually a form of selfishness because it keeps you small. Your no is an act of service to your future self and the people you will eventually be able to help with your resources. You have to develop what I call the elite number. This isn't an angry no or resentful no. It is a calm, certain, and immediate no. It is the no of a person who knows exactly where they are going. When you are certain of your destination, you don't have to get angry at the distractions. You just see them for what they are. Exits on the highway. If you are driving to a destination that is 1,000 miles away, you don't get mad at every exit sign you pass. You just don't take them. You stay on the main road. Most people are taking every exit they see because they don't actually know where they're going. They're just driving. But you have a map. You have a target. Your first million is the first major milestone on that map. Every time you refuse an exit, you get there faster. This is the final push. I want you to look at your life right now and find the expensive yeses. What are the things you are saying yes to that are costing you your dreams? Is it a relationship that drains you? Is it a habit that numbs you? Is it a job that bores you? Whatever it is, you have to be willing to kill it. You have to be willing to let the good life die so that the great life can be born. This is the sacrifice of the average. To become the person who earns $1,000,000, you have to let the person who earned $50,000 go. That version of you is dead. That version of you was a yes person. This new version of you, this $1,000,000 version, is a no person. You are selective. You are focused. You are intentional. As you move forward from this moment, I want you to feel the weight of the word no. Feel the power it gives you. Every time you say it to something that doesn't align with your mission, feel your confidence grow. Feel your bank account start to move, not because of some magic, but because your focus is finally sharp enough to cut through the noise of the marketplace. The market is waiting for someone like you, someone who isn't distracted, someone who isn't wavering, someone who has the discipline to stay the course. Your yes kept you stuck in the mud of the masses. Your no is the key that starts the engine of your first million. The struggle you feel right now, the tension between wanting to be liked and wanting to be successful, that is the birth of your greatness. Don't shy away from that tension. Lean into it. Be okay with being misunderstood. Be okay with being the difficult one. The people who are easy to deal with are rarely the ones who change the world. The people who change the world are the ones who have standards so high that no is their default setting. They only say yes when something meets their level of excellence. Raise your standards. Guard your time. Protect your energy. Your first million isn't out there in the world. It's hidden behind the no you've been too afraid to say. Say it today. Say it tomorrow. Say it until your reality matches your vision. You are not stuck. You are just overcommitted. Break the chains of yes and walk through the door of no. Your million-dollar life is waiting on the other side of that door, and the only person who can unlock it is you.